When you say 100% hardcore Hispanic, I think of like soccer jersey, like super peros, literally only speaks in Spanish because their entire friend group speaks in Spanish.
I thought like everyone was the same, like every Hispanic person that I magically managed to come across in school went through the same thing that I did, and that's what I wanted to focus my documentary on, of how difficult it is being Hispanic up here. Surprisingly, that wasn't completely true because two of my friends went through a different experience than I did.
Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a junior at Florida State University and I study psychology.
Hi, I'm Brianna. I'm a senior at Florida State University and I study ICT. I'm Mexican and Cuban.
My parents are Colombian and I'm originally from Tarboro, North Carolina. I grew up in a predominantly white town. We were the only Hispanics in the entire town. I was the only kid that spoke Spanish. A lot of my friends growing up kind of made fun of me because my culture was different. Once I got to middle school and high school, I got super confident and proud of my culture.
I'm from like a small town called Wellington, and I was the only Hispanic kid with my sister in school till we reached like the 3rd grade. But I never really had Hispanic friends growing up at all until I got to college.
One of my like first experiences as a freshman was I met up with some random people, I think it was in my dorm, and they went up to me to kiss me on my cheek because they were from Miami. And I was like, whoa, I was not used to that. Obviously I was used to that because of my family and my culture and everyone in Colombia, but I've never kissed one of my friends on the cheek because, you know,
your friends were white.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like people, weird. You know, you shake hands or hug or whatever. So I was like, whoa, like what? And he was like, oh, I'm from Miami. Like I'm Cuban or Puerto Rican or whatever. And I was like, oh wow. And then going out, people were singing Spanish songs and playing Spanish, and I was like, what? Like my friends listen to Carrie Underwood, and, you know. Like, so it was very different.
Yeah, I agree. My first friend that I ever made at Florida State was during orientation, and she was Hispanic. And then my second friend that I ever made here, I met in my dorm, and she was also Hispanic. So it was a really cool opportunity to be like, oh, I can speak Spanish to them. I could like hang out with them and cook foods with them. Like it was like a little piece of home.
Yeah. In Florida State. I was born and raised in Miami, and I lived in a very, very Hispanic household. I only spoke Spanish for the first couple of years in my life. It wasn't until I went into school and I was put into ESO that I spoke English at school with my friends. At home it was only Spanish. I'm 100% Honduran, so there's no like half for me.
Like back home, like I didn't consider myself Hispanic and I didn't consider myself white. I was like always stuck in between. So like over here, I didn't feel like I was Hispanic enough to join.
Yeah, I feel like you have to commit to being like super Colombian or Hispanic.
Yeah, I knew I was Hispanic, but like I always hung out with white people, so I was like, you know, like one of the whites, but like they're token Hispanic.
I lived in an area where everyone was from a certain country in Latin America. They were rather from Cuba, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic. So I never had an issue questioning how Hispanic I was because I just grew up in it.
I feel like being bilingual and like coming from, especially you with like 2 different cultures, like mom and dad different, I feel like it's super hard to say when do you feel 100% because we're not 100%. We're American, we're Mexican, Colombian, we're all of these cultures together. So I can't say I'm 100% Colombian because I was born and raised in America.
It wasn't until I moved up to Tallahassee that for some strange reason I felt like I had to express it even more than normal. I began to listen to more Hispanic music than normal, use Spanglish a bit more, watch more Spanish films, talk to my parents in Spanish a bit more. I didn't know what it was like having to question a part of me because I wasn't surrounded by it so much. It felt like I didn't really fit in. Then I found dancing. It made me feel like I was back home. So many things I can't cook here because there's so many ingredients that we don't have up here. The Hispanic section at Walmart, not much really.
It was a weird like moment where I was like, oh my god, like what am I? Like getting up here, I was like, oh, I am Hispanic. Like, I cook this food, I speak this language, like, this is what I am. I still feel like I'm not like 100% because of the way I was raised. But I'm still very proud to be Hispanic, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm a Hispanic woman.
My intentions for this video was to show how bad Tallahassee is with their lack of Hispanic culture. Not as bad as I made it seem. I think having these small parts, these small events, this small tiny community just makes it even better. Because the Hispanic culture is very family oriented, and then when you have like that close-knit community, you just feel even closer with everyone else. And I was sort of like, again, I was pretty surprised of how it ended up changing my mind over living here. Even I love Tallahassee, and I would live here if I could. And I don't know, I think having, even though Tallahassee isn't like the number one hotspot for Latinos, I think it still has a small but sweet community that I like to be a part of. It's not perfect, but I mean, no city is, I would say. I'm done.